It goes without saying that some of us prefer designer fragrances, some of us prefer niche fragrances, and a lot of us like both. And this video is kind of geared towards those who might have an aversion to niche fragrances, but are still interested, maybe peripherally, maybe not enough so to actually go out and spend their money or make effort to acquire a niche fragrance, whether in a sample form or a bottle, but the interest is there. This video is for you. I'm trying to create a bridge here, and this could be a part of a series, so you guys let me know. It'll depend on how you react and respond to this video to let me know if you want to see more videos like this. But we're talking about niche fragrances that kind of resemble some popular designer fragrances. So basically we can say if you like this designer fragrance, you'll probably like this niche fragrance. Again, no guarantees, but there's a good chance. And I hope it just serves as a guide for those of you who are looking to kind of make that leap. You don't even have to jump though. Again, I'm building a bridge. So you just walk across this bridge and try these fragrances. Let's jump right into it. Our first designer fragrance is coming from Hermes. Honestly, I view this as a niche fragrance from a designer house. This is not a mainstream fragrance. This is not intended to appeal to everyone. It doesn't appeal to everyone, even though it's been out for almost 20 years at this point, and it's quite a popular one from the house. This is still not going to top the charts above fragrances like Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, and all that other stuff. But this is called Terre D'Hermes, a total classic. And again, not for everyone. It is a niche fragrance in my opinion. Take that as you will. But this is vetiver based. This is very earthy, grassy, woody, dry and peppery, but with the nice freshness from some citrus, kind of tangy in a way. But the vetiver is first and foremost here. This is primarily a fresh, earthy fragrance. A lot of people would consider it quite masculine. I don't think we need an alternative for this, but there is a fragrance that I think for those of you who might be put off by Terre D'Hermes, like I was when I first smelled it, you might appreciate this alternative. Now this particular fragrance does smell pretty dang close to Terre D'Hermes. The rest of my alternatives will resemble their original to varying degrees, but this is from the house of Daniel Hosier. This is called Vetiver. When I first smelled this blindly on a test strip in a perfumery, I thought it was Terre D'Hermes, but then someone said it wasn't, so I smelled a little bit deeper into it and realized, no, this is actually a little bit smoother and rounder. Nowhere near as spicy, nowhere near as dirty smelling as Terre D'Hermes, even though this is not a dirty fragrance by any means, but it has the same profile. Earthy, woody, grassy vetiver with a little bit of a citrus quality, kind of tart, almost mouth-watering, but ultimately very classy smelling, very refined, does still carry a little bit of a freshness to it, something that's perfect for spring and summer. I don't know if I would call this a step up from Terre D'Hermes, because this is a solid, wonderful masterpiece of a fragrance, but this could possibly appeal to a few extra people who were put off by the brashness of it. So check out Daniel Hosier Vetiver down below with the links. This fragrance is not hard to like. If you are a fan of At the Barber's from Margiela, this is a beautiful kind of entry-level barbershop fragrance resembling shaving foam. It's creamy, fresh and sweet, spicy and herbal, a little bit citrusy, definitely a little bit woody and leathery. So it smells like you're clean out the barbershop. There's a freshness to it. Like I said, there's a cleanliness here. It smells very kind of traditionally, classically masculine, but in a modern way, and definitely in a more simple way in regards to the fougere genre, which this is in. All of that to say, you're gonna like Sartorial from Penhaligons. This takes the simplicity of the fougere genre and adds a little bit more nuance to it, adds some details that make it a little unusual, but still bring in that same function of cleanliness, of classiness. This brings a little bit more of a honeyed sweetness, kind of similar to the color of the juice here, from like honeycomb or honey or some kind of beeswax or something like that. Also with this interesting metallic accord that does bring a freshness, but it is a little bit unusual. This is supposed to resemble like a tailor's shop. So it is clean, it is very barbershop-like, but with a little bit of a twist to it, maybe a little bit more interesting, honestly. So if you've past entry level, or if you want to skip beyond it, This is a great next step, I gotta say. Sartorial from Penhaligons. A lot of people call this a clubbing monster. Ultra Male, Ultra Male, whatever you want to call it, from Jean Paul Gaultier. I believe it is discontinued. This is sweet pear with vanilla and cinnamon. Very, very vanilla heavy, a little bit fruity, sweet, bubblegummy, spicy, a little bit of a warmth in there, but does have a freshness from lavender as well. Very, very playful, very youthful. And this fragrance, you might actually, if you're not careful, pay as much as you would for something like this, which is a niche fragrance coming from M. Micallef. This is called DesirToxic. I talk about this all the time. These particular fragrances don't really smell all that similar, but they do have some similar facets. This is fruity and a little bit aromatic and very, very sweet and playful. This is gonna give you a similar vibe, but with different elements. Instead of pear, we're using a lot of black currant here, which isn't quite as sweet, but it is still quite juicy. You have more of an herbal quality in here from cannabis, which can be a little bit sour, but all it does is kind of balance out the sweetness, because there's also a lot of tonka bean in here. Instead of vanilla, we have tonka bean, which has a vanilla-like quality to it, but it is balanced out with that cannabis and the not so sweetness of the black currant, but still very playful. Honestly, a little bit sexier, definitely a little bit more grown up, not mature by any means. I think anyone could wear this, but it does smell a little bit less than Ultra Male. I've been speaking the praises of this for a long time. Please get you a sample if you have not already. Can't get enough of DesirToxic. Simply intoxicating. At one time, this was one of my favorite fragrances to wear during the winter. It topped several lists of mine years back. I still think it's a solid release as far as designer fragrances go. I find it very pleasant, but it's not interesting. And this is Azzaro Wanted by Night. If I was gonna take this fragrance and take it to the next level, if I wanted to stay in this realm, something that's sweet and warm and spicy with tobacco, so there's a bit of an inviting quality to it, but it's also playful and it's also fun and it's something you can wear out. If I wanted to take this and elevate it, I might take it into the ballpark of something like Side Effect from Initio Parfum. I have it on my hand here. They're not the same fragrance by any means, but again, they share similar facets here. They both have tobacco, which is this kind of earthy, leafy vibe. Maybe a little bit more authentic here than in here, but I've smelled more authentic tobacco in other fragrances, period. They are quite sweet. I think both of them featuring vanilla, but this brings a substantial boozy quality from rum that literally smells like you're sticking your nose in a glass of rum. That alcoholic kind of fresh openness, you get that, and it's kind of jarring, but it is so incredible. It's very succulent and mouth-watering. You don't get the same bubblegum quality in this as you get in this, so again, makes it a little bit less youthful, but again, by no means mature. Simply a great alternative to an already pretty good scent, but if you want to elevate it, check out Side Effect from Initio. And finally, an absolute classic, something that harkens back to my childhood. I didn't wear it, but a lot of people around me who were older than me did, and I grew up smelling it all the time. Tommy for Men from Tommy Hilfiger. Just brings back great memories. A simple fragrance, very reminiscent of the time it came out, the 1990s, but with a fair amount of interest to it. There's a little bit of some unusual qualities like cactus and cranberry or something, I don't know, but it smells really nice. Mostly you get mint and lavender, maybe some apple. It's fresh, it's aromatic, it's kind of herbal in a way. It smells like clean, almost out of the shower gel vibes, but with a little bit more interest to me than something like Versace Dylan Blue. It's not quite that soap, like yay, just got clean. There's a little bit more going on here. Now, this is a very inexpensive fragrance. It's easy to find. It smells like the 1990s. It does kind of smell like it costs as much as you paid for it. Not in a bad way, but it just only rides so high. If you want something that steps that up a little bit, you still kind of retain that vibe, the magic of a 1990s clean, fresh, masculine fragrance. This one kind of surprised me. This is from Stephanie De Bruyn, and this is called My Gentleman. This does smell a little bit more reminiscent to some other 90s fragrances that I no longer own, especially something like Swiss Army Classic. It smells a little bit closer to that to me, but it's in that vibe. It does have that clean, almost fresh out of the shower vibe, but it is a little bit more higher quality. It's a little smoother. It smells a little bit less synthetic. It is a little bit green and herbaceous, but mostly like lavender, clean woods, easy to throw on, but can also be a little bit classy, especially more so than the Tommy Hilfiger. So to that end, I do call it a little bit of a step up. If you want to up your game in this realm and this easy breezy, throw it on, forget about it, but something that's actually going to last a little bit longer than the Tommy, because this is an eau de parfum, it will stick around a little bit longer. It is a pure upgrade if you're asking me. Check out My Gentleman from Stephanie De Bruin. This was provided to me by my friends at Max Aroma, so I will link them down below. One of the best places online to grab niche and designer fragrances for a discount. All right, that's going to do it for me. I would love to know, what do you think of my picks? Would you consider some of these alternatives if you've tried them? Again, I wasn't going for clones. I wasn't going for one-to-one in terms of the alternative being a complete substitute for the original. We're talking about being in the ballpark, but a little bit closer than maybe some other comparisons I've done in the past. So I'd love to know what you think. If you tried them, please let me know down in the comments. While you're going down there, please hit that like button. That's the freest thing you can do, and it really does help so much. And if you have not subscribed and you want to help even more, please subscribe, join the Fresh Squad, increase and elevate your presence in the world, at least a little bit, hopefully through these videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.